were telling us about
Yeah,
yourself.
let's just start over. So I studied marketing. I did not study languages, but when I was studying, I really realized something. Languages are parts of my personality. That's what I loved, but especially English. So I just started learning it for a couple of years, and then I was helping like a couple of friends learning new things. But then they were always telling me, I really understand this when you explain it. So I thought that I could help more people, not just my friends, you know?
Yeah, so just let me ask you about when did you start exactly? I mean, is it back to the high school times or just after that?
No, it's actually at that time. I don't know, maybe it was 7 years ago, I guess. Let's just say 7 years ago. I don't know if that's really the exact amount of time, but I think it's 7 years. Yeah. So I just started learning it. And of course, I think you have some questions about how did I learn it? So now you know that I love the language, but how, right?
Yeah, it's good. Actually, we're coming to that. How did you learn the English? What are the methods and the ways that you use to learn the language? But let me just go back into these years when you start to learning the language. Some people, they start with French and they study French first, and then like they excel in French, or they become like very good speakers of French, and then they decide to go to learn the English language. Is it the case for you, or you just went directly to English?
That's a good question, actually. So, because I was studying economics, so I was basically studying everything in French.
Yeah, obviously.
You know, studying economics helped me learn French better and speak it better. I was reading a lot of French novels at the time, but I was paying more attention to English. It was a priority for me. So English was a priority for me. So I was giving it more time because French is something that I learned at school, you know, maybe the whole week. So if you study economics in Morocco, you know that. Or I think not just economics, the other studies, but just my case. I'm talking about my case. And then, yeah, so for me, it was both, but I was giving more importance to English.
That's great. So, did you have like something that drives you apart from passion and all those stuff? Of course, we know that you have a passion for languages, but some people, they learn languages because they want to reach some objectives. I mean, there are some people who have this passion just because they saw people speaking in English and they want to speak like them. They want to be like good speakers, like some models they see on TV or something. Or other people, they want to study the language because they have the idea that one day they will immigrate or they will travel to the United States or an English-speaking country. So this way, they will have the language to speak with. Is it the case? What are the things that drives you to study language, apart from passion, of course?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, yeah, what is the thing that kept me really wanting to study and speak the language?
Did you have friends who speak? Because sometimes people have friends speaking English. So when you see your friends speaking English and you can't speak to them just because you don't have the language, and you say, well, I should learn the language. I must learn it.
Yeah, that exists. But in my case, it was because I was watching movies, and we'll get to that later because I'm a huge fan of series and TV shows. So I was watching movies. So at the time it was, I don't know, the channel's name was maybe NBC2. I don't remember. So that's like
NBC2,
where I was watching movies, and then I only understood like parts, like a few sentences. Maybe when they said hi, how are you, man, and things like that. But I didn't really understood the context or everything that they're saying. So I was thinking that I should learn that language and I should reach a level where I will be able to understand what they're saying and maybe someday speak to a native speaker and then really speak like they're doing in the movies. So the answer is movies. That's my answer.
The answer is movies. Yeah, sure. So we watch movies, and at a time we say, why can't we speak like these people? Why can't we like understand 100% of what they're saying without looking at the Arabic subtitles? This is actually like a driven power that drives us to be motivated to learn the language. Sure. So if you don't mind me asking, of course, how old are you now?
Yeah, 25.
25. All right. So 25, you started learning the language like 7 years ago, as you said?
Yeah, let's make it 10.
10 years. All right. So was this 10 years like, how would you describe the process of learning? Was it like you just learned the language as a habit, or you took it seriously and you read some books and do some extra stuff in order to improve your English, or you just, because some people, they learn the language like intentionally, okay? They don't focus on the language. They don't say, well, I want to learn it. You just listen to things, to stuffs, you read stuffs, and one day you find yourself a great speaker because you practice it and because you use it a lot. Did you focus on that, or you just...
I think, yes, I think it's what you said. So I made English a part of my life, and it was always there. So I wasn't serious, because if I focused on English a lot, maybe I would have learned it in just 3 years, maybe. But it took me this time because I wasn't serious. So in the beginning, I was just reading some novels or maybe watching movies, but not really.
We're coming to that. Remind me of that. We're coming to it. Reading novels. Yeah, very. You know why? Because you have something I don't have. Because I didn't read much novels. I didn't read much, actually. Yeah, I was focusing on other stuff in order to improve my English. So we're coming to that. Reading. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, I'll remind you. So for me, it was like a habit. So I started, but not really 2 hours a day and having like a program or a plan.
A plan. Yeah.
I didn't have I was lost, actually. I want to put it this way. I was lost. This is why today I'm helping people, you know, because I didn't have someone who was there to show me what are the steps to follow. So it was just for me, maybe I'll read this article today, and the next day I'll focus on watching a movie. And, you know, I wasn't having a plan that says next year I'll speak English. And of course, I'm talking about the first years, maybe like the first 3 years of this journey. So it's like I just learned it because I made it, as I said, a part of my life. It was there all the time.
What are the you made it part of your life? Did you have someone like in your family or at school or anywhere who helped you practice more your English? Did you have some people that besides you who helped you like practicing, or just you practice by yourself and you develop your English by yourself?
So actually, what's funny in my story is that I have a brother who studied English, but we never practiced English together because
your brother majored in English. He's a student of English. He majored in English at university.
Yes, and we don't practice English together because I'm not with my family all the time. I studied in different cities, not always with my family, if you get the meaning. So I didn't practice English with him, but it helped me see that people have a passion for this language. It showed me its importance. It's true, we didn't practice together, I didn't ask for help because I don't know, that's how I started learning. It's just by myself.
Actually, I like that. You know why? Because I told you in the previous question that some people, they just found themselves learning the language without making efforts. It's like they're enjoying. And this is what I tell the people here, my followers, when they ask me this question. I tell them, well, don't make it like a hard task learning English. Try to make it fun for yourself. Try to learn the language while doing other stuff. I'll give you an example. Try to learn English while you are cooking, while you're driving your car, while you're at home, while you're speaking to your dad or your mom if they speak English. Try to make English or learning English part of your life. Okay? This is going to help you a lot. Did you use this method to improve your English? Did you surround yourself with English and...
Exactly. So that's, I think that's what I was looking for. Those are the exact words I was looking for. I was enjoying the language. Yeah. So even if I had a brother who knows,
can you tell us how did you do that? Because it's not easy for everyone. Some people, they find it like a hard task to learn a language. They don't find like this joy that you're speaking about. They don't find it. They're looking for it. But they're just learning the language the traditional way. And they can't make it fun. And how can we do it?
So yeah, that's a good question. If you want to learn a language in a fun way, so you just need to do the things that you like. So for example, if you don't, someone maybe doesn't like to read books, right? I get this question a lot. I don't know if it's the case for you. People come to me and they say, I don't know why, but I don't like reading books. How can I learn a language knowing that I hate books? And I say it's possible. If you hate books, listen to radio.
That's good. Don't read. Yeah, don't read. If you don't like reading, don't read. It's like don't learn the language the way you don't like. Choose a way that you love. You have an interest, right? Everyone have interest. Some people are interested in series, as you said. You were interested in series and movies. So you find it like a good way and a joy when you watch a movie and at the same time you're learning stuff. Some people, they like football, especially for boys. They like listening to interviews, football players having interviews, Cristiano Ronaldo. Some people, they're interested in politics. So they listen to speeches, to many things. Music as well. Thank you. Music. So there are many, of course, everyone has interest. So try to include learning English in your interest. Yeah.
Exactly. So I wasn't trying to force myself. I was just enjoying it. So, but of course, sometimes things get hard. So you don't, for example, when I started learning the tenses, I didn't know how to deal with that. Yeah, so I was working on some exercises, right? I was working on some exercises. What I want to say is sometimes you will find it hard to understand some lessons in a language, grammar. I'm talking about grammar. But
that's not, but Loubna, but listen, but that's not the case for beginners. Because I tell the beginners, this is my point of view. Some teachers, they disagree with me and they say, because I'm an English teacher and I know how beginners start. As beginners, the grammar, and especially the hard grammar, is neglected. So you have to put the grammar aside and then start working on your vocabulary, building like big background of vocabulary. And then when you reach the intermediate level or the upper intermediate level, at that time, you start like studying some grammar rules. And when you study grammar rules and you don't understand, don't panic. Don't say, well, I will stop because grammar is difficult. So learning the language is difficult. No, learning the language is fun. The grammar is only there to help you. Because if I make mistakes, you know, I've invited, I don't know if you have seen like an interview I did with an American teacher, and he said something very, very important. He said, listen, you saw it?
Not entirely, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but at a point I asked him about grammar, and then he said he has like a big experience in teaching English in many Arabic countries. His name is Josh. So he told me, well, listen, grammar is only there because it helps us to make ourselves understood so that other people can understand us. If you are using enough grammar to make people understand you, you're good. You're not in trouble.
Yes.
You know what? Some people, like in the United States now, they say she have, he have. Okay, that's not a problem, I guess, because people would understand you when you say she have. But don't make grammar mistakes. I'm not telling you go and make grammar mistakes. Okay, but for communication, to make people understand you, to be understood, that's enough. If you can express your ideas without any problems, grammar will come in the way. You will learn grammar implicitly. Do you see my point?
Yes.
Yeah.
I see, because I always tell people this: don't put too much pressure on yourself. And I'm talking about two things: grammar and pronunciation, because a lot of people think that grammar and pronunciation are important, but when they want to talk, they don't have the vocabulary, the sentences, the idioms, the phrases.
Sure.
So start with that. It's more fun. Of course, grammar is important, but if you get blocked, just try to take a break and then study something else.
Sure.
I think it's good. The most important thing is that you should enjoy.
Yeah, is that you're going to enjoy. So, Loubna, talking about your experience, just give us in 2 sentences or 3, what is your advice to someone who wants to learn the English language in general? Of course, apart from enjoying and stuff like that. Like resources online. People now are speaking about resources and language centers. So people, when they want to learn the language, they find themselves like they don't know how to start, whether to start online, to go to a language school, to practice with a friend. They get confused. How can we start learning English as beginners? We don't know. We don't understand.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So I'll give you my advice, like briefly. So first of all, if you want to learn English, start with something simple and easy. For example, don't take a book that has 500 pages and start with that, because that's not something to begin with. It's great, you can do it, you're free, but I wouldn't advise you to do that. So you can just start with something simple, like what? If you just Google English for beginners, there are a lot of resources. Just study the vocabulary.
But that's a problem. For me, it's a problem. You know, when sometimes people ask me, can you recommend something to us? Because when we go to Google, when we search, it's like we get like hundreds of resources and we don't know how to start. We don't know what to pick. It's a hard task. Do you have something specific?
I know. Something how can specific. They choose? So how can they choose? Okay. So what I do, even now, if I want to search for something, I try to take 3 resources, okay? Maybe 3 websites, 3 YouTube channels. I'm talking in general. I pick 3 things, and then I read the first one, the second one, the third one. You know, if you do that, your heart will choose for you. I don't know if it makes any sense, but there is something.
It does make sense. Yeah.
Right? So
your heart.
Just try to.
We tend actually to choose with our hearts. You know, our hearts, they choose. But the choices made by hearts are like 50% right and sometimes 50% wrong. So we can't like depend on our hearts most of the time. So we have to mix like 50 mind, 50 hearts.
Well, yeah, but I think that it's up to the person who wants to learn.
Sure.
So you can choose to pick just one resource or one website or one YouTube channel and just start with them, or you can pick a lot of resources, because what I used to do I didn't choose just one thing, and I will tell you why. It's a good thing to have a lot of resources. People see it as a challenge. I don't, because if you go to multiple websites, then you get a lot of different information, right? So, for example, when I was studying, I wasn't sure about American English, British English. I didn't know. So what I was doing, I started learning with BBC English, like their website. It's a great.
They're
website.
great. They're great.
BBC English.
Professional
and then
people.
I was, and then I was also studying with other websites. Honestly, I don't remember, but they were American websites, and I could see the difference. So of course it can be confusing, but it's up to you. So make it simple. First advice is make it simple for yourself. Just pick one thing. It's hard to choose, I know. I've been there.
So just take one resource. Take one resource and then focus on that resource. And do too much practice. That's good. So I have received many questions. I don't know if you have received as well questions from your people. You have received some questions?
Yes. But let's compare. Tell me what you have.
All right. So I have many questions actually, but I just choose like 3 because some questions are being repeated. Okay, same questions are being repeated. So the first thing I have here is the accent. Of course, you do have a great accent, an American accent, which is I think you have an accent that is like mixed between it's not American basically and it's not British 100%. So this is the accent I like, and when I speak, if you can like notice this, I try not to be like 100% American and not to be like 100% British. And that's good, actually, because we need to be English speakers, like speak in English that people can understand. It doesn't matter whether you're speaking your British or you're speaking American. It's not important. So just speak a standard English, an English that people can understand. So accents. Is there a way, the question, is there a way to improve the accent? Is there something that we can do? Of course, apart from, because there are some things that are biological, you know, some sounds, some people, they can't produce some sounds, even if they try, even if they train their mouth, if they practice, some sounds are very hard for them to practice, especially some English sounds like the sound of R, the R sound. It's a little bit challenging for some people. And yeah, many sounds are difficult to pronounce due to some biological problems. But we can find ways or find methods in order to improve our accent. Do you have something to say about this? How can we develop our accents?
I got this question too, because people worry a lot about the way they sound. They just say, first of all, stop worrying about your accent. Yes, you should improve it. That's good. But stop worrying, because if I understand what you're saying, then that's good, like you said before. So wanting to have an accent is great, but don't worry too much. So how could you improve that accent? I advise people to start recording themselves when they talk. Why?
Sure, great way.
So let's take people who read, okay? Maybe just paragraphs. They don't really know their problem. They hear the voices, their voice in their heads, but they don't hear themselves speaking. So this is why just take your phone, record yourself. This way you will know what are the problems that you have in your accent. For example, like the R sound. If you have a problem with the R sound, you know what to work on. You will go and watch a lot of videos helping you practice that. YouTube now is really helpful to do that. You can just type
do you
something
think
and
that's a question that has popped to my mind just now. Is learning the accent like learning the grammar? Is it something we can like if I have, for example, a problem learning a certain sound, does it help if I go and search for something like theoretical? can we learn the accent theoretically? Because in my opinion, I think that the accent cannot be learned by theory. I can't like say, well, listen, this sound can be pronounced like this way, and you have to move your mouth like up and down, or twist your tongue, or do. That's really hard. You're going to confuse people. I think the best way, in my opinion, to make people practice sounds, to have a good accent, is to train their mouths. And training requires two things: listening and looking. You look at me, how I pronounce the sound, try to look at me, and then you try to listen and shadow, or try to speak like me. So try to say, or to have the same sounds I have.
Yeah.
That's the way.
Yeah. I think it's great, but there are some trainings that can be helpful. For example, people can actually teach you, but you have to make a lot of efforts. For example, if you watch YouTube videos,
you have to practice.
Exactly, you have to practice. I don't, like you said, I don't think that if you read an article about pronunciation, it's gonna help you, because reading about the pronunciation, I think that's not really helpful.
It's going to confuse you.
Exactly. Like, how am I supposed to make this shape with my mouth? Of course, there is a picture, but I need to see a person, right? Not a picture, not something written. So like you said, try to listen and imitate people. Like, oh, they're opening their mouth, I should also open my mouth in a certain way. I agree with you.
And I think that someone here in the comments have mentioned that Moroccan people are like, they have good accent in general. Many people, they don't find problems, or they don't find big difficulties improving their accent, because we already have sounds that are difficult in our Moroccan Darija. It's sounds that are difficult even for the whole world. Like, if you speak now to someone from the Middle East, they won't understand you. The opposite, we can understand everybody. So we have some advantages, which we should use in learning languages. And I think also that Moroccan people, they learn languages more than other people. All right? So we learn French, we learn English. If you go to the north, you find people like speaking Spanish, and many languages, like 4 languages are available in Morocco. As the opposite for some other countries, they just learn 1 language or 2. So we have this advantage. Right, the next question. Yeah, sure, we do. So another question here. Books that beginners can start with, like some recommendation. Can you recommend some books for people who have just started learning the English language? I mean, stories or anything, yeah.
I don't have a special title, because when I started reading, it was
just
until I was
just like... the types. I mean, just the type of reading that we should do, not like, of course, not titles, yeah.
Exactly, that's what I was trying to say. So I highly recommend, if you're a beginner, just go with short stories. People say that it's easy, it's for kids. Well, if they use short stories to teach kids, then they work. It's helpful. So I think people should start with short stories. And if you really hate reading, just read articles. Like articles on some online, I don't know, websites, articles about anything, the topic that you like.
Sure, because what you've mentioned about the stories, the short stories, kids stories, especially kids stories, they're really helpful. You as a learner, as an English learner, you should look for the language, not for the content. So, but I think that some stories for kids are really interesting, even for adults. As an adult, you can still find these stories useful and enjoy them. Why not? I enjoy stories of kids. I used to read stories for my students, and I used to enjoy them. Even sometimes you find those stories are silly and for kids, but still you can have like something to get from, especially vocabulary, some basic vocabulary.
Sure.
Yeah. there's another question about, just coming back to this point of accent. I have something to add about the accent. I don't know if you agree with me or not. So let me just tell you this. The accent.
Okay.
Some people, they put accent first, and they say, well, if I am to start learning the language, if I'm to start learning the English language, I should look like this person. I should speak like Obama. I should speak like Donald Trump. I should be like him. So this point of comparing yourself as a beginner to someone who has a very advanced level of English is not helping. Okay, why people get shy from speaking? Why people don't like to speak in public or don't like to use their English? Sometimes some people, they can write, they're good at writing. I have students who are great in writing. They can write like perfect essays. They can express themselves like in a good way in writing. But when it comes to speaking, they get blocked. They can't produce one sentence. Why is that? The problem is that when they hear someone speaking, they say, well, if I can't speak like him, I will not speak. That's a problem. Because you'll have to use the language you have in mind. You'll have to speak to speak freely. Don't put barriers for yourself, because that's not going to help you. Do you see my point?
Yes, I agree. I agree. I think that you should have your own accent.
Yeah.
It's true. Well, it's a good thing that you want to speak like you said, like Obama, or I don't know, like someone else, like your favorite actor or your favorite singer.
Yeah.
Anyone. But you should have your own accent as long as you're really trying to produce the correct sounds.
Sure.
Try, but don't compare yourself to others, especially if you're a beginner. Just try to see how you can say certain words, pronounce them correctly, and then the accent will just improve with time. Don't worry about that. That's, I agree.
So it comes in a way. So it's like sometimes people, when they want to if you focus on the accent and you focus on those stuffs, you will not learn actually. But if you put accent aside and you focus on improving your English, try to learn new vocabulary, to learn new expressions, new idioms, stuff like that. With time, with practicing, with more listening, you will improve. You will not feel it, but you will improve. That's it.
Sure.
Yeah, one point is that accent is different from pronunciation. Accent is something like related to like everyone. Just like everyone has his own accent. But the pronunciation is different, right? So pronunciation, when you want to pronounce, you have to make sure that you don't make a lot of pronunciation mistakes. Okay? So I don't know. It's like if you take the word cat, and you take the verb cat. So if you want to be understood, you'll have to make clear that this is cat, and the sound cat. Okay? So it's different from cat. So cat is the animal, the pet, and cat. So this actually causes problem. This is not, now we're not speaking about the accent. We're speaking about the pronunciation. So pay attention more to pronunciation. See the point?
Yeah. Actually, that's what people should do. As long as you're saying correct words, don't worry about the accent, because the accent, as you said, is different. It's good that you want to have an accent. Yes, you can dream about an American accent, a British accent, but try to focus on the correct things to say. That's most important. That's the most important thing.
If you have a bad accent and good pronunciation, people will understand you. Okay?
Right.
But if you pronounce the words in a wrong way, people will not understand you. Like the example we gave, like cat and cat. So people will get confused. So try to make sure that.
Yeah. I just want to give an example. So it's some people can't pronounce the P, so they say B, and then park and bark will be the same word.
Sure.
So they should work on the pronunciation instead of the
Of
accent.
P, yeah.
I agree.
Sure.
Yeah.
So P, if you say bark, so bark is a sound of an animal, and park is different. So two different verbs with two different pronunciation. If you can't pronounce the sound right, you confuse people. People will not understand you. And the aim and the goal behind speaking is to make people understand you. That's the goal. Communication. So that's good. In your bio that you sent to me, it says that you are a public speaker. We didn't speak about that.
Yeah, let's talk
Tell us about that.
So,
what do you mean about public speaker? What do you do? I mean, do you like go in the street and speak to people? What do you do?
that's a good question. So it started in 2014. So it started with a competition, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So I studied at the preparatory classes, and then just one day, my English teacher told me, there is a competition about public speaking. I think you should participate. And then I said, why not? So it started from there, competitions, and then we would talk about a specific topic. We would write a speech.
Is it local in your school? Was it local in the school?
It was first, of course, local, and then regional. That was a national competition also.
National, okay.
So that was like a lot of steps. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah, we do. Here.
Sorry, because I just got a call, and then I thought, okay, so we're good. So yeah, it was a lot of steps, and then right now, it's something that I try to teach. Like, some people come to me to coach them about how to be more confident, how to talk in public. So I would recommend people to start focusing on these skills, how to speak in front of people with confidence. And I don't know, maybe people ask you about this.
Yeah, they do. They do. So, speaking in public, I received questions from people here. How did you get the confidence to speak in public? How did you? Because some people, because speaking in public actually is different from learning English. That's another topic. Because some people, they speak Arabic, but still they can't like speak in public in Arabic. It's difficult. It's not easy. It requires some skills, confidence. Yeah, some steps maybe to follow, and many steps. How did you manage to become like a speaker? And I've seen your videos, and I'm inviting people here to go and have check Loubna's account. She makes some great stuffs, and you will see when she's presenting like confidently, and yeah, she's great. She's great at presenting, because teaching, part of teaching is confidence. If you're not confident, you will fail in teaching. All right. So how did you become a speaker, a public speaker?
Yes. So thank you, first of all. And then actually, I like talking to people. So that's just something that you should know first. And then, how did I get the confidence to do that? Because it doesn't mean that I will be confident. A lot of people like to speak to other people, but not in front of a huge crowd.
Yeah.
So to get confident, you need to work. It takes a lot of work, and you should trust the person that you want to become. It sounds strange, but what I mean is, have like a version of yourself, okay? A person that you want to become, and then just picture that person. Think about that person, and work every day to become that person.
Yeah.
It's something that helps a lot. I think you get the meaning of this. It's a process.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, but this is in terms of the psychology of how to prepare yourself. But let's speak about something practical. I mean, let's suppose tomorrow I have a presentation in class, and yeah, I feel, yeah, I have my presentation ready. and everything is ready. But maybe I memorize, maybe I put like some headlines or something. I mean, I'm confident that I will do great. But when it comes to the presentation, the day of the presentation, I get like stressed, and I ruin everything. Yeah, I can't say one sentence correct.
I see.
So give us something like practical.
Sure. So as I said, it takes work, and if you want something really practical about this subject, is that people before giving presentation, they should be ready. Because I see a lot of people not getting ready and wanting to give presentations, right? If you're ready, if you know the topic, I'm not talking about...
What do you mean by ready? What do you mean by ready? Ready in terms of what?
Ready, yeah, sure, that's a good question. Being ready means that you know what you're going to talk about. You are confident. Of course, we're not there yet. Maybe you're not 100% confident about yourself, but I'm talking about being ready in terms of trusting what you have to say. Let's say there is a topic where we're gonna talk about World War II, and then you just copy pasted some information from the internet. You don't, yeah, you read it, you memorized it, but you don't really understand it. Try writing in your own style. This is something that I recommend. Write in your own style, understand what you want to talk about, and also work a lot. I mean, practice in front of the mirror. Say it again and again and again until you feel confident. I think these are two advice that I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and on the day of the presentation, some people, they do all what you said. You just prepare well, practice many times, practice in front of pillows, in front of a mirror, in front of their parents. They even invent some ways to practice. They invite friends at home to practice with them and to feel like the presentation. But when it comes to the presentation, still they feel stressed. I don't know. Some people, they're gifted. They were born with this gift to be confident, and they have this confidence already. But other people, they just,
I understand.
They can't. You know, they can't. They just surely we're not specialists in that, but let's say like something that we can do on the day of the presentation or speaking in public to reduce this stress, because stress is a very big problem.
Yes, it is. Well, I think that, well, it sounds simple, but breathing actually helps.
Yeah, breathing, that's good. Breathing. And yeah, why do we, I was wondering, why do we get shy? Why do we feel stress on the day of the presentation? Is it the eyes of the people looking at us? Everyone expecting us to present? Yeah, it's the ideas. It's more about the ideas.
You know, even the most confident people get stressed.
Yeah.
Singers
get stressed.
Singers,
yeah, they do.
And they get scared. You know, a singer is used to a huge crowd. It's like thousands of people.
You know, it's not easy, as you said. It's even, you know, when I record myself, when I started recording myself in the videos I make online, I used to record myself like with no one at home, just me and the camera. Just me and the camera, me recording myself. But still, I feel stressed. There's no one, but I feel stressed. So it's, and I'm a teacher. I'm used to that. I'm used to the crowd. I'm used to 30, even 34 or more students in the class and presenting. But just a camera confused me. You see?
Because you feel like someone is staring at you.
Watching you.
You should do well.
Yeah. Someone is watching you.
Yeah, I feel
Did it happen to you? Did it happen to you as well? Getting confused in front of camera?
Yes, it happens to anyone. This is what I'm talking about. Being confident is just challenging yourself. It's not magic. You will be scared,
it's not magic.
But how to get past that, how to challenge yourself. that's what, so before, so when I started shooting videos, I was like, no one is with me, but someone is watching. People are watching. But I guess it's just the eye of the camera.
Yeah, because if it's just, you know, I tell you this, if public speaking is only about preparing the subject and having the subject ready and the ideas ready, believe me, 80% of the people will be great speakers. Public speaking is more than that. It's a confidence, it's, you know, self-esteem, it's like some things that the person should have in his personality.
But also
it
the
happens.
practice.
Sure, the practice. If you're not, listen, if you're not ready, if the subject is not there, you can't speak. I can tell you about some people, you know, I can tell you about some people who don't prepare at all. Do you know that? And still, they can produce great speeches.
They are,
you know, the
exception.
great speakers.
They're just an exception.
You know, the great speakers, if you, no, believe me. Now, the great speakers in the world, they are people who read a lot. Okay, people who read a lot, who are like knowledgeable. They have a big knowledge of things. They know what they're speaking about. If you know what you're speaking about, it doesn't take you like to prepare headlines or to memorize or to do anything. This is for beginners. We're speaking about people who have just started started presentations. They should be prepared. You should be prepared. You should have your subjects ready, okay, and the ideas ready in your mind. That's good. So it was good, nice, actually talking about this topic. It's really important. Yeah. It's a part of the English language learning, because later we will need to present, we will need to speak in front of people. It's a great feeling, isn't it? It's a great feeling to speak in front of people, isn't it?
Yes, it's a great feeling, and of course, when you look back, you're different each time. So it gets better.
You improve with time.
Competition was scary. I was scared. But then later, I became more familiar. So yes, the feeling was great, but it took a lot of work.
Yeah, sure. So I don't know, these are the questions I had. If you have some questions I didn't mention here, maybe you can discuss them.
There was this question about how do I get rid of my French accent when I'm speaking English?
That's a good question.
Topic.
Yeah, what would you say about that?
So, I don't know. Some people, they try to learn English and they start with French. Like they try to translate, for example, from French to English, or also they start learning English, but they still watch a lot of French stuff. What I advise is you should be focusing on English more. Surround yourself with, I'm not going to say people who speak English because not everyone has this opportunity, but
yeah, sure.
I'm talking about movies, the radio, I don't know, books. So they should forget a little bit about the French aspect of their language, so they know French, but they just have to focus more on English. I know some people who want to learn English, but they just spend a lot of time watching, for example, Instagram stories in French. For example, they watch movies in French. They listen to songs in French. French is still there. I'm not saying you should get rid of it. It's a great language. It's great that you like it, but if you're trying to improve your accent, try to forget a little bit about French to get better. I don't know if you agree with me. I don't know if you have advice.
Yeah, sure. The sounds from, you know, there's a problem about especially these two languages, actually, French and English. Like if you go to the history, English got inspired from French. And this is due, of course, to something in the history. You know, because French at a point in the history was dominating for a long time, was dominating England. Okay, so the French people, they try to influence the British people. And they did actually, and that's why we see that many French words are the same in English, just different in the pronunciation. So when you learn French first, and then you go to English and you start learning English, you'll find like 40% of the words are there in French. You are already familiar with these words, but in a different pronunciation. As you said, if you keep on interacting and getting exposed to French more than getting exposed to English, you will be confused, and you will find yourself using some, sometimes when speaking like quickly, you find yourself say may or may instead of but, and yes, it's like you will find yourself like using French words when you speak English, and this is why we should like I don't know how to say it, but just stop or block the French content. Okay, block them for a moment. Focus on the English stuffs. Learn the English stuffs. Listen more to English. So this way, your ears get ready for the language. That's the point.
Yes, I agree.
So French and English, I don't see that this is a big problem. Actually, learning French also. It helps you learn the English.
It helps to know some words.
Yeah, it helps, especially people who understand French, who are good at French, are more able to learn the English. Why? Because they have already a background ready, like words that are ready, that they will hear in the English language, and they will understand. As a beginning, they will understand. They will find themselves like understanding the ideas that English people say.
Yeah.
I don't know if there are still some questions.
Actually, I think I covered everything, especially pronunciation, grammar. Those were the questions.
All right.
Yeah, and there was, I think I remember now a question about movies. How do I learn from movies? Like, what is the best thing to do? And I just want to say that please try to use English subtitles, not Arabic subtitles.
Sure. Yeah.
It will be hard in the beginning, but with time you will get better and you will understand what they're saying. But if you really want to learn, you need to read English and listen to English. I mean, if you're watching movies.
Yeah, sure. So for movies, I've made a video about movies, how to learn English from movies. There are actually many. If you watch movies a lot, I mean a lot, so it means like every day watching movies, you will learn from movies. But if you just watch movies from time to time, like once a week or once or twice a month or something, I don't think that will help you a lot. Okay, watching and focusing on the language, watching, and in your mind you want to learn English. You don't want like just to watch and enjoy the story or something. So watch with this intention in mind. I want to learn English. I want to improve, and you can use English subtitles. My advice to you: don't use subtitles at all, Arabic or English. This is my point of view, because I don't have the ability to watch and read at the same time. I find it difficult. And some people also do. But some people, they're okay with that. They can watch and they can read. If you watch and read, I don't think that you will enjoy the movie. But for beginners, for people who have just started learning the English language, use Arabic subtitles. Use them. You know why? Because as a beginner, you will not understand anything. You will just watch like this. You will just follow the images and stuff. So 80% of the people will get bored and will stop learning because they can't understand any idea. And that's a problem. We don't want you to stop. We want you to learn. So go and use Arabic subtitles at the beginning. Once you feel that you are comfortable with the language and that you can get the main ideas from from the actors, stop subtitles. Arabic and English. Stop it. If you can read and watch at the same time, use English subtitles, but that will not help you a lot.
Depends on the person.
Depends on the person. Me, myself, I don't prefer this because reading and listening is a difficult task. We have eyes شنو غدير غادي تشوف تفرج ولا غادي so it's a hard task.
Well,
it's really hard task. So try to do one thing.
If you're learning, if you want to learn, then you can do it. But it's hard. But
it's hard, yeah, it's hard. It will help you a lot. We also get questions about music. Do you like music?
Yes, I do. I do, and I learned a little bit of my English using music. But if you want to learn English, don't listen to rap songs, for example. You should listen to songs that are easy to understand. You should also read the lyrics, kalimat or les paroles, and then if you read the lyrics after listening, because you know sometimes, so when we were younger, we would say complete wrong words in the song just because we like it. So we go on just like saying la 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 la, but it's wrong. So if you really want to learn from songs, try to read the lyrics.
Sure. Yeah, sure, it helps. And there is that website I all the time recommend, which is website and also an application, an app called Lyrics Training, lyricstraining.com. They allow you to listen to songs and at the same time look at the lyrics, and you can solve some exercises, or you can sometimes fill in the gaps and do some exercises about some stuffs, and movies also, some movies and series. It's a great way to practice using songs and also using movies. Do you some people are asking this question, can you recommend some types of music? I mean, you said you talked about rap music. You said it's not really helpful because the rappers are using, like, first of all, they use a very slang language, and sometimes, not sometimes, like most of the time, they use a very bad language. And the problem is, one of my students, he comes to the class and uses some of the words he hears in songs, and in his mind thinking that is the English, but in fact that's not English. That's English of the streets, and most of the words that they're using our words are commercial. They use it for commercial, so they get more views, they get like more interaction from people, and they buy more of their albums and stuff. So if you want English, guys, if you want English, try to pick up things that from which you will benefit. Songs will improve your English. You will get new expressions, new vocabulary, but that's not like a top way of learning the English language. Okay, that's not a top way. So would you recommend some types? So rap is not good. So what would you recommend? Like some pop or something?
I think, well, the slowest type of music, I think sometimes it's pop music. Music.
So we're coming to the end. We still have 20 seconds. Thank you, Loubna, so much for joining. I was so happy. If you have a last word to say, because the live is ending.
Sure. Well, believe in yourselves, guys. You can do it. You can learn English. You're enough.
Thank you.
And I'll say this in Arabic.
The time